Hello everyone. Welcome. Today we are going to discuss what is a QTP based automation framework and why we need these frameworks. What's the importance of these frameworks in real-time projects and how these frameworks will be implemented. These are the things we are going to discuss in today's presentation. We at H2K Infosys provide different services in software testing and development. This is our website, H2KInfosys.com. You please visit our website and look at the contents, what we covered under different training programs, and this is our phone and email contacts. We are verified business based in Atlanta, Georgia, and we provide live classes. You are going to face the faculty in each class, and also we have this cloud test lab environment where you can access our lab machines remotely from your home or wherever you are in the world. You can access our cloud test lab machines and practice on our tools. And also we have this mock interview sessions happens on every Tuesday and Thursday weekly twice. That's where we are going to provide a lot of support to our students how to face real-time client interviews. And also we provide support in preparing your resumes, like how you can prepare your resumes, and we review the resumes. And these are some of the benefits what we provide from H2K Infosys. That's basically like you see many people believe that on-site trainings are equal importance to the online trainings, because with all these facilities like what we discussed, right, you don't see any difference between on-site or online classes. In fact, like most of the people say, online classes will be more effective than on-site classes. That's where like you can attend the classes from your home at your convenient time. And this is our phone contacts and this is our email contacts. So at any time you are most welcome to inquire about our training programs either by email or by phone. These are some of the services like what we provide. So IT trainings, special training programs for MS students, and we do provide services on software development projects and also the testing, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and we do provide technical support. And these are some of the training programs what we provide on different technologies. If you are interested in any of these trainings, you please visit our website. That's where we post a detailed syllabus what we cover under these different training programs. Competitive edge, okay. What are the benefits you really get once you enroll for these training programs? See, there are a number of institutes that provide the IT training, but how different it is from H2K Infosys? Yes, there is a difference how we deal the training programs. Our classes are live classes, and also you have this cloud test lab. That's where you can access our lab machines remotely from your home. All our training classes will be focused 100% job oriented. And also we provide the recorded sessions at the end of each class. That way you can review what is taught in the class at your convenient time. Plus you can attend mock interview sessions. That basically helps you to get into this QA. You can attend multiple classes multiple times. We attend to solve your any of software installation issues. We provide material and software what's required for this training, and you are going to work on different projects in different domains: banking, insurance, telecom, CRM, and supply chain domains. So if you like to know, you please visit our website. That's where we mention the same thing on our website too. Alright, so anyway, like we're going to talk these interview questions once we cover the framework stuff, and then we're going to discuss what will be asked in the interviews on the framework. Anyway, let's talk about the framework. So what it is? What is QTP based test automation framework? You know, like many companies, they do automation. Yes, you might have heard from your friends or from colleagues, okay, we are trying to automate the stuff. But the main concept is, see, today's functional test automation tools like QTP or any other tools helps automation engineers to facilitate this test automation using the basic record and playback. So you know, like if you consider your tape recorder, right? So that is a device where you find record and playback buttons. You can click on the record button and record a song. And then once the song is completed, you can play back. But the main question is, you cannot alter that, right? You cannot alter whatever the song like you sung. You cannot do that. The same thing happened in case of test automation also, right? If you record a script on later part of time, hey, no, I want to run my script with a different username and password. So basically you recorded a script with a username and password. That's the login script. And tomorrow you want to run the same script with a different username and password. That's not possible because everything is hard-coded as part of your recording. Your usernames and passwords, everything is hard-coded as part of the script. Tomorrow if you want to make reuse of the same script with a different username and password, that is the difficult part of it. That is the drawback with the record and playback, because everything is hard-coded in the script. That's why for most of these enterprise applications, this record and playback feature may not work because of different limitations. What are those limitations? Minimal reuse of code. Minimal reuse of code. So what is this minimal reuse of code? Okay, so as I mentioned, you cannot reuse the script, and also high script test automation maintenance. Anyway, I'm going to discuss about these features. What is this minimum reusability, and then high test automation in a moment. Then how this QTP test automation framework is going to work on these limitations. So it provides a unified structure to all QTP based test automation projects. You are going to come up with a unified directory structure, and that provides a solution how you can make use of existing scripts. And also it provides a platform for each of your test automation development and maintenance. That is the main thing in test automation projects. You have to maintain very easily your scripts tomorrow. Say for example, you develop say 100-200 scripts, right? Say you look at an application like say bankofamerica.com. You created 200 scripts and today they work without any issues. But tomorrow, say for example, the Bank of America says no, the application URL is changed, or you want to test your applications across different browsers, Firefox, Chrome. That is where your maintenance comes into the picture. How easily you can port your scripts across different browsers, different operating systems, right? And also it drastically reduces your time required for test automation. And also it provides easy of this data-driven test case approach. Okay, I want to test my application with different 100 usernames and passwords. Imagine if you hardcoded everything, then it's a very difficult part if you want to test with 100 usernames and passwords. And it minimizes the effort to maintain your test scripts. How? That will be answered in my QTP demonstration. So this is the main purpose of the QTP automation framework. It provides a unified structure to all the test cases so that the test cases are easy to maintain and develop. It also provides a rich set of basically the APIs. Means you are going to come up with more of these function libraries. Those function libraries contains all reusable components in the form of functions and subroutines. So you are going to use the subroutines or the functions in your scripts. All QTP scripts contains is the calls to the functions. That way your script maintenance is drastically comes down. Okay, I'm going to show you like how you are going to write the functions and then how you can make use of those functions in QTP. Alright, so this is the little bit background. I want to give it to you. What is framework, what are the drawbacks, and how the QTP framework is going to address those limitations. Alright, so let's jump onto the tool and let's look at how the QTP framework looks like. And like as we mentioned, right, what is this directory structure? Because everywhere like we are talking about unified directory structure. So how it looks like? You see here under C drive there is a test automation folder. This is the root folder under C test automation, the root folder. So under test automation, you see again there are different subfolders and you see a project folder like Mercury Tools. So if you double click on this, then you see again different subfolders like the classes, data, lib, OR and scripts. So what are these classes? That's where you are going to write all your function libraries. Those function libraries contain the project specific functions and subroutines. And the data folder is the one that contains your test data in the form of an Excel sheet. Okay, so this is the Excel sheet, how you can maintain the data. So for example, this is the login sheet where you can maintain agent name and password. And these are the two different agent names and passwords. So this is the test data you are going to maintain in your Excel sheet. Say reservation. Again, that has different columns where you are going to put, say fly from, fly to city, customer name and how many tickets you need. All the stuff you are going to maintain in this reservation sheet. And then there is a folder called lib. That's where you're going to maintain all your project constants. Okay, I will show you how you can define a function, how you can define a constant, and then what is the folder. That's where we maintain the shared object repositories. Then the scripts folder is the one that contains the QTP scripts. Okay, so once you define this directory structure, and the next part is how you fill these folders with different files. Alright, so now let's move on to QTP. Okay, the first thing is you need to locate the data, right? Whether you prepared, you identified, that's the starting point, right, for any automation project. First you need to identify what are the test cases that you need to automate. And the second thing is you need to make sure the test data is available for those test cases. Okay, so here we are going to automate, say, login test case. And we are going to look at whether you have sufficient data for the login test case. Yes, I got it. So agent name and password, that is the data I need. Okay, I got my data ready. And the second thing is you need to make sure in QTP the appropriate add-in is installed, right? Then how you know, like, what are the add-ins that are available with QTP? If you go to, say, file settings, and then here you will find what are the different add-ins that you need for your applications. Basically, like, you need to understand what is the application you are testing. Whether it's a web application, .NET, Java, depending on, you're going to select appropriate add-ins here. Suppose if you're testing a .NET based application, so we need to make sure this .NET add-in should be checked. If you're testing, say, web application, this web add-in should be checked. This way, once you make sure the appropriate add-in is checked, that means you are educating QTP, hey, I'm going to create scripts on this application. And the next step is you're going to create the shared object repositories. Okay, so first thing is you identify the test case, that is login. The second thing is you identified what is data you need. Okay, you got the right data, the username and password. The third thing is you identify what are the add-ins that is required. That is, okay, anyway, like in this application we are testing, say, Visual Basic or Windows add-in. And the fourth one is you are going to prepare now object repositories. So how you create object repositories? Okay, so the first thing what you can do is you need to, okay, so minimize the application this way, and the next step is open the application manually. Okay, go to applications and then say QTP sample applications and then flight. Now I'm going to learn all the objects, like I'm creating a shared object repository. So automation, resources object repository, and then just select objects, add objects to local, and then click on here on this top, on anywhere on the top of this window, and you see dialog login. Make sure dialog login is selected. In case, say for example here, if you select, say, agent name text box, it displays the agent name text box, right? But if you want to add all objects from this window, you make sure from this hierarchy select dialog login and click OK button, and now you are going to add all default object types. So click OK, so that you see everything gets added. Now if you want to make sure, just randomly check whether the right object is added or not. Just say for example click OK and then say view highlight in the application, so that gets blinked. That way just you understand, okay, I got the right objects into my object repository. Anyway, here I want to tell you one more thing. Suppose if you are not sure what is object repository and then what are the objects, then I have is the other video presentation. There I'm going to discuss a little bit on the object repositories, what it is, and what are the different object types, how the QTP will identify what are the different properties of an object. That video demonstration will explain more details on the object repositories. Okay, so here I'm not going in detail about the object repository. So once you create this object repository, and then let's save this object repository, because right now actually it's a local object repository. You're going to create a shared object repository. File, export local objects, and then go to your automation folder. Say test automation, Mercury Tools project, war folder. That's where this automation repository has to go. And then whenever you name the object repository, again we are going to follow certain naming conventions as part of the framework. Those are nothing but your coding standards. So one of the coding standards is the naming conventions. So here I'm going to say this is war, say Mercury Tools, right? So this way you can create a shared object repository. Save it. So if you go to that folder structure now, go and create a shared object repository into this folder. So you got one file into your framework now, shared object repository. Okay, let's close this. And now, so you got this object repository, and also like here, one beautiful feature with latest versions of QTP is what are the objects that are added, those things available under available keywords tab. If you're not sure how to get this tab, you can select view available keywords. And now the second thing is you are going to, okay, you created shared object repositories, and now let's create some project constants. So you can create now a function library. And then how to define a constant. So I'm going to say public constant, and constant's name is say application exe, because the application what we are going to work is a Windows application. That's where you're going to provide application executable file. If it is a web application, of course you're going to provide here the URL of the application. So what is the application executable file? So let's go to that. Sample applications, and right click, then provide the properties, and this is the executable file. Copy and paste it here. So this is one constant, like application executable file. Like why we have to do this? Say tomorrow if they change something, okay, the executable file is different. Then all you have to do is just to change this constant, because you are going to use this constant in your scripts. This is public constant, and this is the constant name. Okay, so let's save this file. Say file save, and then this has to go to your test automation folder. Again, project lib. Then you're going to name this as a say constant. Okay, say constants.qfl file, quick test function library. Save it. And the next one is you can create a function, right? So let's create one more function library. Say a new function library. And now I'm going to create a function. So function, this is to open application. Okay. Then what is the function name? Okay, so function name is say open app, right? And then you have to close and open bracket. How you can open the function? System.util object dot run. So for this you have to provide application executable file. So what I do is here I'm going to use this constant, right? So I'm going to use the constant, like whatever that I define in the constants file. This way I'm going to write different functions, right? Say the next one is, say function is the login. This is the other function. So I'm going to say function, and function name is say login. And now, so what's the login? First I have to enter the username, and the next one is the password. Next one is say OK button. Just drag and drop those objects so that it generates automatically the script. And now here I can pass the different arguments to the function, right? So what is the first argument? Say agent name. What's the second argument? Password. And now I can pass these arguments to my function. First one is the agent name, and the second one is password. So this way you can also indenting. So basically, like, indenting is also a coding standard. That way your code looks better. Okay, so this is nothing but a tab space on your keyboard. So this way you wrote two functions. One is to open it, and the other one is to close. Login, and then you can also write one more function if you want. Just say, okay, let's write one more function, say close app. Okay, and then how you're going to write close app function? Say function close app, and then so again you're going to use system.ut object dot, instead of run is basically to open application. Now you're going to close by name. So this way you can say flight 4a.exe. Yes, that is the application name, right? So you see, this is the executable file. So you are going to close this application. So flight 4a.exe. Okay. So this one, if you want, just you can also do copy paste so that you don't get any typos or anything. Okay, so this way we can write as many functions as you want. So if you look at in real-time projects, you're going to write say multiple functions this way, and then you can save this function library too. So I'm going to save this function library to my classes folder in automation framework, and then I can name this one as say functions. Okay, say functions.qfl. Save it. Okay, so we define the constant and we define the functions. The next one is you're going to write your script. Okay, go to your script, and the first thing is you have to remember you always associate your function library. Associate function library. This is the first step. So when you associate with the function library, so you can use execute file. Always remember, first you need to associate the constant file. So you're going to map so to test automation Mercury tools. So constants QFL, right? Just copy this path, and then within double quotes you paste it, and now you're going to mention the file name .qfl. This way you can associate all your functions. Then what's the next one? I want to associate my functions. What are the functions I wrote? This one, right? So again, you're going to associate the functions library. Okay, fine. We associated the functions, and next thing is you have to get test data from where? From Excel. From Excel. How to get your data? So you're going to use data table object dot import. Okay, and then so we're going to mention what's the file name. So that is again under your test automation micro tools data. So this is the file name, test data dot xls. So you got your test data. Now the next thing is you do your scripting. So what is the first step in your scripting? So you have to do first you need to open the application, right? And also here, so either you can do association this way. Here I want to tell you one more thing. Association, if you want to do programmatically, you can do this way, or otherwise also you can do file settings and then under resources there is associate function libraries. Okay, it's absolutely fine, both are fine. So you can do either programmatically or through this setting. So here you can select this one and then say first you need to associate the constant. Okay, so it's better always to keep this relative path. Okay, there are benefits, and we're going to talk like what are the benefits in later part of my other presentations. Say yes. And then the next one is I want to associate my functions too. So this will also like you can associate the function libraries. Okay, so if you do this way, if you prefer to go with this route, then you need not do this part. Okay, either way. See, that is association, and also this way you can get your test data. Okay, and then next thing is, you see like here you will get the library functions. See, once you associate, then it's going to, the QTP is going to expose all those library functions from your function libraries. So what are the functions you want to use? You can call them. So you can just drag and drop. Okay, first I want to use say open application. Okay, so you just drag and drop, and then if you want to provide, you can also provide the formatting part. So open application, right? So that way this function is called in your script, and the second one is the login, and the third one is say close application. And here if you see for the open application and close application there is no problem because there are no arguments. Whereas for the login you have two function arguments, so you need to pass the data now. So you see the argument says a name and password. So how to get the username and password? Say data table, right, and dot value, and then you're going to say whatever the sheet name, right, from your Excel sheet. So this is the sheet name. So login. So the column, what's the column name? Agent name, right? So this way you are going to read data from the Excel sheet. Okay, so you got the data into data table, and now you are trying to read one by one column. So this whole thing is going to give you the agent name, and the next one is the password. The next argument, the password again. So you just copy paste this line, and then this should be the password, whatever the column name from your Excel sheet. Okay, so this way you're going to read the usernames and passwords from Excel sheet. And here, because you see in your Excel sheet there are two rows, right? Say there are two rows. your script has to run through these rows. So for that, first you need to get the row count. So how to get row count? How to get the row count? So data table dot, say there is a get row count. Okay, so data table dot get row count, and then here you're going to say, this is basically it's going to give you how many rows are there in the data table, right? So if you want, just you can declare a variable, something say row count, and then you're going to assign this one to this. So that is going to get the row count from the data table, and now you're keeping that in the loop. So for I is equal to 1, 2, how many rows are there, right? And then you move this next till end, so that it will route through. Sorry, it's next. And now you are also doing here data table dot set next row, because it has to loop through all rows. That's it. So this is the for loop. So what you're doing here, first you're getting the row count, like how many rows are there from your Excel sheet, and then you're keeping that row count in the loop, so that, and also it has to move to the next row every time. So with that, your script is going to work. So this is the logic, how you can do your scripting. Okay, that way you can run your script and then it's going to work. Let me close the Excel sheet, because once I keep open this Excel sheet, my script is going to fail, because you have to make sure the Excel sheet is closed before you run your script. Okay, that is okay. My script is ready. I got the data, I got the row count and everything. So if you want to make sure like whether you are getting the data properly into the Excel sheet, so you can also debug the script. So that part we're going to discuss in other presentation.
You glad you came? The sun goes down, the stars come out, and all that counts is here and now. My universe will never be the same. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came.